Hi there YouTubers, welcome back to my channel, Workshop Fun. Well, today I just thought I would post a little update video because it's been about 3 weeks now since I did. And yeah, I thought I'd better do a little update because there has been quite a number of things going on. So, first I'll start off with the fridge area. So I've been able to widen it out to get the bigger fridge in, as I described in my last video, but something that I was enlightened about by the person who's helping me restore this caravan, he actually informed me that because I had a gas fridge in here, I didn't need all the ventilation that the gas fridge needed. So basically I could get away with building a wall over the ventilation on the inside and just putting a fan in to suck the hot air out in the summertime, along with a little thermostat. So that's exactly what I've done, and the vents on the outside still look the same, nothing's changed on the outside, but here on the inside it's all walled off and sealed. So in winter I won't get a great big strong draft blowing through there, and in the summer when the fridge gets hot, this little fan will come on and suck the hot air away, and that's situated deliberately there. I worked it out with the fridge that I've brought, where the little motor is and compressor and all of that, and it's about there, so that will suck all the hot air out. And you can just see there the little temperature probe hanging down. So that's all set up and working now. I'll just pause the video and I'll show you where the temperature sensor is. Temperature unit. Okay, so there's the little temperature unit, or actually better name for it is thermostat. So that's there. I've just pulled the fuse for now because I don't need it to work for now. And yeah, I just ran the wiring through to the fridge area, and I ran the wiring through to the fuse board too that I set up. So that's all in and sorted and wired up nicely. So we're getting there. Right, I'll just pause the video again and then be right back. Okay, so another area that I've worked on a lot lately is in here. This is where my water filter system is. So before, in my last video, I had a single filtration system in place. Well, I decided I could do a bit better than that, because what I did not realise is a bench top filter is still just an under bench filter as well. It's only that it's missing its little foot. It just gets unscrewed, and instead of a pipe with an inlet and outlet, you just buy these plastic little pneumatic fittings, and then you can then join it up to the other filter or use it as an underbench filter. So that's exactly what I did, and this one here is just going to have the filter that takes out the coarse debris. I've forgotten what it is for the sake of me, but oh well. And then that one's got my 0.5 micron filter in it. And as you can see, I've ran the plumbing, neatened it all up. Oh, just a little pro tip for anybody doing plumbing: if you want to get this pipe to bend into shape nicely, use a heat gun on it for a little bit and just warm it up, and then shape it, and then let it cool, and it will remember that shape. So that's just a little pro tip for anybody. Yeah, so the stainless bracket, I got my friendly engineer to make that up for me, and then I turned around and drilled all the holes in it and screwed everything in, and then drilled the holes to fix it to the wall. And yeah, hey presto, done. And this will all be hidden in the cupboard. That cupboard wasn't very useful for much anyway, so I'm not really losing much storage. So yeah, that's fantastic. And yeah, now I have a pretty much a residential style filter system in my caravan, so I'm quite stoked about that. The other thing, of course, is it's nice having the bench, this bench top. There's little real estate here, so the more real estate I have, the nicer it is. So having it all hidden away is great. Okay, moving right along. So I have now permanently situated the water pump and laid down the necessary lino. I have made up a gas line and hooked it all up. That was a bit of work, but it's all done now. And hopefully this week my plumbing will be up and running, and these plastic fittings here, these black ones, they're getting replaced with some nice stainless ones. I won't worry about replacing these grey ones, they're brand new, but these black ones weep. No matter what I do, they just weep a little bit, so they're all going with some nice stainless steel pneumatic fittings. And I already got 2 brand new pneumatic fittings on my new hot water cylinder. I put those in pretty much right away. And also the other thing I did is I ran my own line for my water pump. I don't know what it is, but with a lot of caravans and RVs, coaches, whatever, they turn around and hook the water pump up on the same circuit as the lights. So whenever you turn your water on, the lights flicker, and it's quite horrible. It's not very nice. So all your 12-volt lights flicker when you run your water. I didn't like that, so I ran my own line from my bus bar underneath my main sofa and ran that up to the original switch for the water pump, and then ran it back down to here. So it was a bit of a job, but well worth it. I have no flickering. So that's just another pro tip for anybody. If you want to fix that flickering, run your own line and just put an inline fuse on it. That's all I did, and it works really nicely. No more schizophrenic lights. It's wonderful. Right, the other thing I've done is, you might see here a little plug hidden away. I had a second think about how I'd laid out the hot water cylinder and decided I did want it to be plugged in after all. So I have kept this switch, of course, because this switch here is inline first, and it has the fuse in it to drop the fuse down to 6.5, I think it is, with the Suburban heaters. I think that's what I got, or is it 6? I'm not sure exactly what it is, but that is the first switch, so that takes the full brunt if anything goes wrong. Then through to this one, it's just simply there to act as a Wi-Fi switch. So basically I can turn this on like that and leave that on, and this one of course will be on as well. But if you see this little square module, which the plug is plugged into, and then that plugs into the socket, that is a Wi-Fi module. So the reason why I have that is when I'm making excess solar and everything in my caravan is charged and running nicely, I can then turn around and turn my hot water cylinder on via the electricity, and then I can be using my solar through the inverter to heat my water. So free water essentially, and that's the whole reason why I got a hot water cylinder and not a Califon. I know a lot of people nowadays are going the Califont way, but the hot water cylinders still have their merit. They're good in the sense that you can use them to basically create a sense of free heating. So that's what I've done, and it's all basically in place now. What else has been happening lately? Right, the other thing I've done, I completed it just yesterday, was the feature wall is now done, and the dresser is now screwed back in place, and it's looking really nice. It's really neat to see this all done. It didn't take long once I got into it, but yeah, what a big transformation in here. So that's all done. The fan system that I've shown on my previous videos, that's all in and it works lovely. Really nice having the cabinet secured all around it and just making sure that my science experiment worked. So here we go. I mean, you know, you can, that's on full soft starting and all working. So lovely, nice cooling in the summertime from the floor level coming up, and all filtered of course. So yeah, and this fan of course is hidden away and tucked away, but it still doesn't impose too much on the shelving in here. I still got a lot, so all my socks can go in there still and everything. So great, pleased about that. That's been a little bit of a custom design of my own. If anybody else wants to do that, you can ask me some more questions if you want. What I used is a Herbal Grow fan, and the reason why I used one of these, it's a greenhouse fan, the reason why I used one of those is because they're super quiet. Like if you have it running, like what you heard then was full bore, if you have it running mid or quarter, you can hardly hear it. I'll turn it on to quarter now. So yeah, that's about quarter. You can hear the air flowing more than the fan. There's hardly anything. The other thing I did too is these drawers never sat straight ever, and it was because the bottom of the wardrobe supported these drawers, and that's a bit of a dumb idea. So what I've done, I'll just pull this drawer out, is in here, it's a simple solution. I glued and screwed this wooden block onto the wall, and I made sure the wooden block was the right width that the base of the drawer hangers could basically screw onto that, and that supports it now. So just little ideas like that. Doesn't sound like much, but it all takes time to come up with. Sorry, I'll just put the phone down for a second. It's a little bit hard to put this drawer in one-handed with a frying pan in it and stuff. Okay, underneath here, there we go, that's my hot water cylinder and water pump and everything. Still a little bit of a mess, I haven't finished it yet, but it's very close now. And I've laid more lino down, but even though that's a bigger water tank in there now, it actually takes less footprint than the way it used to be laid out. I have ripped a lot of stuff out of here that was in here and no longer doing anything, and I've also situated the water pump and the hot water cylinder's computer and the gas line. I've situated it all in the most compact way that I can do it, and also retain safety, of course. So the other thing I've also done, so I'll just come over here, is I made up that special bracket which is holding the main water line on a tapered bit of stainless, which I cut out carefully and then beveled the edges so there's no sharp edges. So as you can see, the main waterline is zipped tied to that. So the reason why I've done that is it cannot be kinked now if somebody loads stuff in here without knowing that that's the main waterline. So yeah, that's worked out really well. Very pleased with that. And yeah, next video you'll probably see all this up and running. I have tested it and it works great, but everything was weeping with the black joints were weeping because they're just a bit old and worn out. So once the new stainless ones arrive, then it'll be up and running indefinitely for many years to come. Okay, so that's all of that done. Now moving right along to the bathroom. The toilet now is screwed into place permanently, and the skirting boards have been going back in, or not back in. These are new skirting boards. I custom made them. I made this big one over here quite a long time ago, and now that's all in and glued and screwed in. Everything in behind the skirting boards also got no more gaps, so as an extra line of measure for stopping moisture getting into the corners and damaging the floorboards and stuff, all the lines that you can't see in behind everything was no more gapped. And even up on the feature wall down here, there's no more gaps, so it's very sealed all along there, along the top of the new skirting boards. It's all no more gaps, so it's all very watertight. So basically that's all pretty much done now, apart from just some painting and touching up. Like I've still got to touch up this area quite a bit. Yeah, so that's all done and in. And what else have I got to do? Oh yes, hook up the plumbing for the toilet. That still has to be done, but that's getting there. Right, and of course it's been such a long time, I'll just say that I made this skirting board here with the big platform so my laundry basket can sit over here on top of that off the ground. So yeah, it just allows everything to breathe a bit better. Okay, the other thing I've done finally is this little thing here. I actually handmade this, so I milled a groove in it and then I hand shaped all this pretty much, and this covers up the solar wire, the wiring that comes through the wall, down from the roof and through the wall. So that's all going to be painted, of course, but yeah, that's all done. Another big job. Trying to think what else has happened lately. Not really much else, because that's all taken ages, even though I suppose in a lot of ways it doesn't sound like much, but it takes ages to do all these things. So the next video, hopefully there'll be some exciting structural repairs that will be getting done on the flooring, and then after that the rest of the lino can get laid down. Oh, that was the other thing about the toilet actually, is you can start to see the lino. So that lino is going throughout the whole caravan. That will be the walkway. Underneath my bed we've just used this, so we're not using all the stuff that is needed for the visible areas up. So that's just being used as lino for the storage area, I guess you'd say. So yeah, anyway, okay. Oh, there is one last thing. My freshwater tank. How do I describe this? So when this caravan came in from the UK, it was serviced here in New Zealand, and 180 litre freshwater tank was put in and 190 litre grey water tank was put in. Now whoever did that, they did a fantastic job. They actually made it all out of residential parts, which is great. the freshwater tanks, because there's 2 tanks acting as 1 tank for the freshwater, they are real thick, like they're like 10mm thick plastic or 8mm thick plastic. And the grey water tank's the same, it's 1 big tank. So what happened though is, I'm guessing for some reason or other, they didn't put in a freshwater tank level, like an indicator to let you know how full or empty your tank was, or tanks. So the other day I finally got around to doing that, because when I'm having a shower I just really don't want to risk running my hot water cylinder dry. So I bought this in from Australia. It's a place called RV Electronics, and they make it and the sensor. And yeah, I'm very pleased with that. And to install it was so easy. All you do is you drill a 22mm hole at the top of your, or near the top of your tank. They give you the measurements to work from, and then you plug in the sensor through the side in that hole, and you tighten it up, and it's a grommet that expands and tightens up around your tank and makes it watertight. So you don't have to drop your tanks, you don't have to do any of that fussing around. It's dead easy, and it's really nice not having to do all the other stuff. So yeah, so that's a lovely little unit. Okay, well that's about all for now. If you have any questions, feel free to ask, and have a lovely day. Thank you. Bye.